Greetings to you all from GlobalSelf-EducationPlatform. I am Dr. Kafayat Lamidi. Today I've selected a special topic entitled Community Talks, Domestic Violence Principality. I specifically select this topic based on the series of questions from the GSEP Hub Q&A page. And the reason I'm addressing this because it has to do with the rising rate of domestic violence during the COVID-19 lockdown. So, why is it important to talk about this topic? It is to enhance our understanding of domestic violence, which I will be using the acronym DV for the purpose of this lecture. And then secondly is to raise awareness of some of the processes associated with reporting DV, and also highlighting some of the ways forward. So the starter question is, what are the reporting stages of DV? That's the starter question. We're going to look at different aspects of it. But to start with, it is, what are the reporting stages of DV? Like I said, is to raise awareness and enhance our understanding. So firstly, let's look at the interpretation. From the political point of view, domestic violence is described as any incident or pattern of incidents of controlling or use of force or threatening behavior or violence or abuse between those aged 16 or over. And it can be by a family member or someone that you even trust mostly, as well as intimate partners in terms of couple. And this violence, domestic violence or DV, is regardless of gender or sexuality. It means that the victim, the perpetrator can be male or it can be female in that regard. Let's look at the cultural view of it. In some culture, for example, in Africa, the or domestic violence is often described as aggressive behavior. They tend not to use the word domestic violence. In Africa, we use more of aggressive behavior terms, which is equivalent to aggressive abuse, which I describe as AA within this lecture. And also there's something pertinent to the African culture, which is the silent culture, because it is believed that in marriage you have to endure, and it is believed that any challenges that arise in your marriage, you have to pay the price, so you have to endure the burden. However, sometimes it's necessary to speak up in some circumstances when the situation or before the situation gets out of hand for your own benefit, because it is easy to correct something while we are alive than when we are gone. So let's look at some statistical facts from the Office for National Statistics in the UK. A minimum of 5 million pounds each week in every region across England goes to the public purse for domestic violence. Also, domestic violence costs up to 5.5 billion in a year. And according to the year ending March 2017, the Crime Survey for England and Wales reported that 9 million adults aged between 16 and 59 experienced domestic violence. And out of these people, we have 1.2 million women and 713 men. However, many of the domestic violence homicides, which is 70%, were female. So just to give you the background of what we are dealing with, that's why I'm giving you some statistical analysis. Then here I've captured this visual diagram. I'm going to talk you through it, the most essential part of it. You will see at the top here, it said victim remains hidden. That's those who don't report it. Then here, support is being provided on the right, on my right hand side. Support is being provided to victim from a range of service, and reports recorded by the police is up to, like I said, 16. Where did I get that from? If I give you that figure, yeah, approximately that's 1,068,000. You can see it's a big figure. So you can estimate that based on here incident remains recorded. So around like 579 and 579,971 has been reported. Then crime committed, incident related to crime of domestic violence is related to crime case. So 466,000 of it is considered to be crime case. So for any domestic violence issues, going to be categorized as crime rate. And for the figure I've showed you there, that reported cases for domestic violence, so the police is like above 1 million, so 1.6. So then the most essential part is that when you report the case to the police, they will issue you like crime ID, and that crime ID will continue to be when you give a call or any key worker that you're working with tend to report any further incident on your behalf, they will first ask for the case ID, and you will not be left alone. You will be receiving support throughout. So when it's being reported, the police will pass that. If the suspect is being identified or the perpetrator is being identified, we charge the perpetrator to the Crown Prosecution Service, the CPS. Then after that, if he's been found guilty, he will receive a caution. But if no suspect is, or if there's a lack of evidence, then that case will not be proceeding further to the Crown Court. So this is where I'm coming. So out of the cases reported and being charged to the Crown Court, we have like 995,000 or like approximately 10,000 of the defendants were prosecuted. So there is chance or possibility that when you report a case, you will not be the victim, you will not be victim twice, which means the police will try their best to prosecute the perpetrator. And that is one of the awareness in here, because most people are afraid of reporting because they don't know what is involved or the process that is being involved. So that's why I'm taking you through this diagram, this visual diagram. And under here, down the diagram, you see that defendant is being convicted. They are up to 70,000 of them, and defendant not convicted because of the lack of evidence and lack of support by some of the victims when they withdraw the case is amount to like 22,000 of that. So that is about the visualization of the statistics. The most important thing is that you will report it. You will not be left alone. The police will try their best, and alongside with other key workers like social service or other domestic violence professional. They will work with you to make sure that you are safe, you are protected. So, what is the current situation? Let's look at domestic violence versus COVID-19 lockdown. As at 2nd of May, I'm talking about yesterday now, it has been reported by some of the MP that there has been a surge in violence in the week since the lockdown, and there has been a rise in killing, and the number of calls to the National Domestic Abuse Helpline is up to 50% after 3 weeks. And speaking during the government's coronavirus briefing, the community secretary, which is Mr. Robert Jenrick, is stressed that the victim of domestic violence will not be breaking the law, will not be pushing the law if they need to seek help by going outside of their home during the lockdown. So make a note of that. They will not be pushing the law that you go out to look for safety or look for help because you are experiencing domestic violence. And another changes to the relief or the government support to domestic violence is that there has been 776 million pound funding pledge, um, which is a great support to the domestic abuse situation. So this is the recent bill in the parliament, 76 million funding pledge. So which means that there is support available right now for you to speak out. The government announced it would spend 3.1 million on services for supporting children witnessing apparent abuse at home during the coronavirus or the domestic violence issue. So, and the other challenge is that there is a need for long-time sustainable funding in order to provide for continuous safety even after the COVID-19 lockdown. So, just to point that out, that there is still a long-term sustainability funding required, so that it's not just only the lockdown that we have the funding for. Things can still continue to be safe for the victim of domestic violence after the lockdown. So my analysis is that either men or women could be the perpetrator. Yeah, because some women too are very, very aggressive, not only the men. And a decision to charge, like I said, is up to 72% of domestic abuse-related cases refer to the Crown Prosecution Service, and of those that proceed to the court, conviction was taken for 76% of domestic abuse-related prosecution. However, like I said, some of the challenges include lack of evidence by the victim in pursuing the prosecution and even inadequate support by the victim, because some of them will not be willing to proceed further when they say that they are taking time to go through the process. But the time taken will worth it at the end if you can endure and work, in conjunction with the police and other key organizations out there that will be supporting you for your own benefit, and if the kids are involved, for the benefit of the children as well. Uh, Also, some victims tend to be withdrawing their statements, the witness statement, which is another challenge for the police to be able to pursue the case further in the Crown Court if the witness statement is being withdrawn. So, what is the fixture for every one of us? Given this high rate of incidents and to address the lack of support issue, I recommend community-based intervention. And then surprisingly, because when I was tidying up my slide yesterday, that was when I discovered that this recent pledge the fund has been passed through the domestic violence bill in the parliament, which come like a timing for me to talk about in this presentation, in this lecture. So that shows that the community-based intervention now that I'm calling you all to get involved in our various community, the Christian community, the Muslim community, the Sudanese community, every community out there that is representing the wider interest of the group or the people. So you will be able to get some funding support based on the recent £76 million funding that is available to support domestic violence charity or services. Then within that community-based intervention, I highlighted mental health facility, for example, in case you are trying to look at how you could do this, or even including behavioral adjustment center. And in that case, I'm talking about like counseling services, and also self-esteem and assertiveness program or classes. And this can be easily done during the lockdown because mostly now we are using Zoom for our visual lecture, so there's nothing holding us back to be doing this right now. But some of it, like facilities or centers, can be done as post COVID-19 lockdown. But during this lockdown, we can still be taking some program or classes online. So in doing this, we are going to be ensuring that we are providing for the uniqueness of our community needs. That's why I've identified this community-based intervention, calling on several organizations and group out there. So individually, I've put together that to address this lack of evidence, start to keep a log. The domestic abuse related incident, keep a log of it. For example, I put this table together, the date and the time. Then the other column, where does it happen? Where does it take place? In the bedroom, in the kitchen, or where? Then how does it take place? Followed by a good description of what happened or the detailed description of the incident itself. So keeping record will help you when the police or other service provider out there that are supporting you through the domestic violence reporting stages will be able to put it forward to the Crown Court to ensure that you secure a successful case. So try to keep a log, an incident log or records. This is for our own individual good, because now the rate is increasing for domestic violence at home because couple or partner, they are now sitting alongside each other all the day that they are not used to. So any small thing, try to get on the toes of the other one, and then before you need to escalate into something bigger. So remember, the 76 million funding package will help community-based service, like I've said. So it's time for every Muslim community, Christian communities within this community, or whatsoever they have a community out there, to tap into this opportunity to address some of this issue, because it's increasing the rate of DV has increased during this lockdown. So try to limit the silent question that people refuse to speak out or talk to their friends or family about it, or however you will know when something is wrong with your family member. So try to encourage them to speak out as well. So I'm just trying to reinforce that. Remember, the 76 million for the package is there to support you. It's not just there to sit down and look at the report. It's for use, for protection and safety. So sexual violence, for those that work with victims of domestic violence, as well as sexual violence and modern slavery, including those working with vulnerable children in both England and Wales. So that is what the 76 million is meant for, the package that has recently been passed. So I am going to take us to a throwback. The first throwback I'm going to show to us. Some of you might be aware of these cases. I have 4 cases here that have been in the news this year, some of them. So the first one is in the early year of 2020, that's the first throwback. In Nigeria, this alleged 19-year-old wife called Rabi Usman Shamsudin was arrested for stabbing and murdering her 25-year-old husband. The police arrested her for killing. You can see that's the impact. You can see to go to that extreme to kill the other party is beyond what we can just talk with our mouth, because someone who kills is going to be killed as well. So just over an argument over infidelity, it doesn't want it to kill one another. So this is why we need to address this issue as soon as possible. We don't want to be losing family members. So the second throwback is an incident that happened in the UK. This is Hertfordshire in the UK, and the police arrived at the scene to find the woman dead already, and the man lying down there covered in blood. This 42-year-old alleged stabber, which is the husband, is called Lamidi. He died shortly afterwards, and the mom Ansel found her body on the scene. She was 27 years old at the time of death, and they have 2 children. They left 2 children behind, a 10-year-old boy and a 6-year-old girl. You can imagine what these children will be going through. They lose both parents to domestic violence. So I'm talking about these cases to just highlight the impacts, the long-term impacts. So the earlier we speak out, the better it is for the society and for the children involved. So I've talked about 2 of these cases now. What is the wake-up call so far? Some empirical studies have found that young adults who are exposed or who have experienced DV or aggressive abuse are more likely to be victimized, or continue to encounter ongoing exposure to abuse. So this is a call for parental accountability. That's what I would describe. It is our parental accountability call in relation to putting our children first in any relationship. So imagine the two couple that have lose their life now, they left children behind. The children will be put into care, and to be honest, I don't know what happened to children in the care. So it's better for both parents to be there and raise the children together than to leave the children to foster care or adopted parents. It will not end as being the original parent or biological parents. That's the sincerity about that. So the throwback three is the incident that happened in January. Actually, the incident this has taken place like 3 years before the judgment was passed in January 2020. Is the Abuja High Court sentenced Miriam, as you can see in the image, sentenced Miriam to death by hanging, by because she killed her husband. Like I said, when you kill her, you need to be killed as well. So she killed her husband, Bello, the son of a former People's Democratic Party chairman. This is a politician involved, so she has been sentenced to death. So continue to let this ring down in your head. What's happening here? People killing each other, leaving children in trauma, and what's going to happen to this family? These are the long-term impacts. That's what I'm talking about. This case is not just for talking sake. Then this one in December 2019, because the husband threatened to divorce the wife. You know what happened? She went outside and just burned down the husband's car. She set it ablaze. So imagine the loss of property to the extent that this is called, some say it's aggressive. You can say it is aggressive indeed, aggressive behavior. It makes you behave irrationally. You can go to any length to damage anything. They don't care. So before you get to that stages of killing, of destroying properties, or destroying ourselves emotionally, or breaking down ourselves or sanity. So the earlier the better. Is either you walk out of it, or you report it so that they can amicably separate you guys, or go for the divorce in a very friendly manner, and not the way this one has ended by destroying property. So we don't want things to continue to happen like this, killing, destruction of property and others. So the wake-up call again, I describe it as wake-up call 2, is according to I'm going to draw on a psychologist quote here. Elano said, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dream." So how do I translate that to this lecture? Is that beautiful future dreams can be attributed to our next generations, if you agree with me. Therefore, to plant the seeds of beauty, we must shape the future of the youth. How can we do this? So we should start to educate, we should start to enlighten our youth. Firstly, about early pregnancy. The reason I point out this is that most marriages, they use pregnancies as circumstances for entry visa into relationships. And at the end of the day, some of this issue, because your intention of going to the marriage is not clear, or is not on a solid ground, or based on a genuine or compassionate love for each other. So because you find yourself being pregnant, so you have to go into the marriage. So we need to start educating our young ones about early pregnancy, and this signal what I describe as political accountability in relation to introducing some statutory changes into the law, for example, like embedding relationships, sex, or health education into age-appropriate curriculum. I said age-appropriate curriculum. So I don't think it's all for the younger ones out there, but for the age-appropriate one. So let's start to educate and enlighten them about domestic violence, about sex, about early pregnancy, about relationship, about health education. It's very important we start talking more about this. So my concluding remark will be based on a series of discussion with some senior professional out there And I describe this as a qualitative extracts or extracts, like some qualitative researchers will call it. So let's look at the first one. This person said, one-time abuse is enough to make the best decision for the present and future self. Giving the abuser multiple chances only shows how ruthless you value your life for yourself. After all, no religion encourages this enduring violences or abuse. Just to mention that some of these people I've spoken to are like a community group leader. Some of them work with victims of domestic violence. Some of them are relationship counselor. And this other person said, be safe. Do not be a fool to want to look holy or perfect before family and friends. And this is why I talk about the cultural view of DV earlier on. Like most of the in Africa, they tend to like be quiet or be silent about it. So do not think that you are doing the right thing or you're trying to protect your marriage by not talking about it. Try to seek family redress. If you talk to your partner or your husband and nothing has changed, try to speak out for further help and support. Then this other third person said, life is not about who you were once. It is about who you are now and what you have the potential to become in the future. So everyone has a past. Remember, you do not have to worry about those who keep bringing up your past. Do not let such talk discourage you from looking ahead with positivity. This is very strong message for you out there. If you're thinking about should I report it or should I just continue to remain silent? So do the right thing at the right time. So the final person said the journey is important, but the end is more crucial. Indeed, the past is a mirror to the present. Let us learn from it and just move on. A new chapter lies ahead. We should not overlook any small act. There is always a difference. So this is a connection of community talk with some senior professionals. So that's why today's title is Community Talk Domestic Violence Principality. And the reason why I've embedded principalities in the domestic violence concept is because it's either the man or the woman is overruling the other one and vice versa. So there's always one party overruling the other. That's why I've embedded the concept of principality into this topic of domestic violence discussion. And that's it about topic domestic violence, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And I would like to use this opportunity to say that if you are interested to be featured in our next lecture, please do contact me, or if you would like to be a facilitator, because we do host guests. We call on lecturers to come and help us to review some of the set of Q&A questions. So if you would like, or if you are interested to be invited to the platform to share your expertise, your words of knowledge with us, please email me at gsep at kafayat@kenginamidi.com or message me on 07432 And please do visit the GlobalSelf-EducationPlatform website via https kafayat@kenginamidi.com or GlobalSelf-EducationPlatform.com. They are both links joined together. So it's the same, kafayat@kenginamidi.com or GlobalSelf-EducationPlatform.com. Any of the addresses that you use is the same. Go to the hub page where you will receive this video. I will upload it as well as the previous lecture that we've done on this platform. It's also, we have some of them on the events and video page on the particular one on the hub page, which is the GSEP Hub page at kafayat@kenginamidi.com or GlobalSelf-EducationPlatform.com. So once again, let me use this opportunity to reinforce what Global Self-Education Platform is all about. Our value include innovative, creative, and community impact, which is a mission to change and transformation. The second value is reaching out globally, which is the sharing spirit, which means we are not limited by location. We communicate and we interact, we share our knowledge with everyone out there globally. Then the third one is making knowledge work in terms of resilience. That's my favorite one because you never give up. If what you want is what you want, please go forward, pursue your goals, continue to strive, and don't let anything push you back to fulfill your goal. Try to work towards achieving or accomplishing your goal in life. Then the fourth one is making things happen, which is our responsibility aspect. We are all responsible, for our individual liberty. Then getting things done, that is our accountability value. And our mission is empowering the world through online education. So the vision is we are your trusted global platform to advancing self-education principles and practices. And I hope we will find you will find one way or the other to connect or to work with us through some of our social media platform. Here on the screen, like I said, our website is kafayat.com or GlobalSelf-EducationPlatform.com. Our Twitter page is at cafe_pulse, HUDD. The Facebook page is Cafe Huddersfield. The Facebook page for Global Self-Education Platform is direct as Global Self-Education Platform Facebook page. And on Instagram is Cafe_one word. Then on YouTube, Kafayat Kende Lamidi or Cafe Huddersfield. And on LinkedIn, I have as Dr. Kafayat Kende Lamidi. And try to connect with me on Telegram as well on my mobile number 07432657880. You can use the same number to join our WhatsApp group, and on Telegram is Global Celebration Platform page as well. So my email address once again, if you would like to send your question through, or you would like to be featured as a guest lecturer or a facilitator, you are most highly welcome in the platform to come and share your wealth of experience and knowledge with others. So email at GSEP, GSEP at KAFAYATKEHINDELAMIDI.com. GSEP at kafayatkenlamidi.com. And that is all the social platform that we currently have. And do remember to cite this lecture as Lamidi Kafayat K 2020 Community Talks, Aggressive and Domestic Violence, Principality is Global Self-Education Platform Series 14. And thank you very much for listening. Thank you for your time, for watching as well. I always appreciate you all. Thanks once again for your support. For those who have been sending their questions through the GSEP Q&A, thanks so much for your time, because it's based on what you have asked that I'm using to deliver this lecture. So continue to send your question through by visiting GSEP Hub page on Global Self-Education Platform website or kafayatkenlamidi.com websites. Go to the GSEP Hub page, then you deposit your question, and I will try as much as I can to respond to you in a short while or as soon as possible. Thanks very much for your time. Once again, Dr. Kafayat Lamidi from Global Self-Education Platform. Bye for now and enjoy the rest of the week.